1. So about 4 years ago, me and my classmates, back when we were teens, got into a card game called Magic the Gathering. It's like Pokemon, if that helps. I had a pretty big collection and also adopted my dad's collection, which was really valuable. During the vacation, me and my friend went to a Magic the Gathering playing club. So now EK comes in. The day went as usual. I played with my new-made friends and chilled out. I left to go to the toilet, but when I came back I noticed a kid about 9 years old looking over my card binder. I went up and asked, "Hi, you looking at my cards?"
Yes, I like MTG.
Short for Magic. Cool, would you like to play with us? I was pretty chill even though the kid looked sus.
I don't fully know the rules, but yes,
the kid explained. We will teach you them, don't worry. So the rest of the day went normally, but the next day, I noticed the kid's mom coming up to me.
"Hi, my son told me about your big card game collection."
Yes, that's true, he seemed really interested.
"Actually, could you give it to him? He's young and you're a teenager."
I was 15 at the time. Sorry ma'am, the collection is worth a lot and I really like to play MTG. It is entertaining. I'm still a child, besides many adults play the game.
Come on, it's not like you need them. These are just some worthless cards.
Again, they're worth a bunch.
Okay, I understand.
I thought at this point she might give up, but here we go.
I will give you $150. It's all I have right now.
I'm sorry, the cards aren't for sale, no matter how much you would offer to pay. One card, the Guy's Cradle, is worth about $700. At this point, EM didn't believe a word I said. She started shouting,
$700 for a piece of printed paper? Don't fool me.
I was getting frustrated. I have to go home, it's getting late. If you want, I could recommend what cards to buy for your son, they are cheap. Keep in mind the Guy's Cradle is worth a lot because it's extremely old and rare, out of print. I thought this was it. But the day after, when I was playing with my deck, EK showed up. I thought nothing of it and continued playing. But then I noticed my binder, containing the most expensive and valuable cards, was gone. I asked my friends if they've seen it, and one person told me that they noticed a young kid carrying it out of the room. I immediately ran to the door and hoped to find EK. I noticed him on the other side of the door talking to EM. I saw her put the binder into her purse. I confronted them and asked if they could return the binder.
Are you talking about the little Pokemon cards I bought for my son?
No, ma'am. The Magic the Gathering cards you asked me about yesterday. I saw your son taking it, and you put it into your purse.
These are cards I bought for his birthday 1 week ago.
At this point, I had enough of it. Could you please show me your purse? Surprisingly, EM showed me her purse, and I quickly grabbed the binder. Making sure all the cards are there, I started running back home, really mixed up about what just happened. At some point, I heard a loud shriek coming back from the road.
Help! This boy stole my boy's toy cards!
I just came home and explained everything to my parents. The next day, someone knocked on my door. My father opened it and noticed EM, EK, and a police officer, yes, a police officer, standing outside. Hello, sir. I heard your son took this child's cards. Is that right? After hearing this, I came right to the door with the cards. I interrupted. Hello, officer. No, I haven't taken these cards. In fact, these are my cards and the boy took them from me when I was playing with my friends. You can ask them. They will tell you the very same thing. I need more proof. Well, this kid doesn't know anything about Magic the Gathering, so how about you ask us what the cards' names are? The cards had a name and artwork. He covered the name and asked us about the names. The kid didn't know any of the names, of course he didn't. And the officer gave the binder back to me. I thanked him, he apologized, and my father closed the door. I didn't want to know what happened to EM and EK. I assumed they learned their lesson not to steal other people's things. I noticed them walking somewhere from time to time and avoided them like a swarm of wasps. 2. Normally when you go hiking in the mountains of Austria, you don't expect to meet overly entitled or just plain stupid people. But exactly that happened to me when I was hiking in a more pricey area of the Austrian Alps. I was hiking with my family, strolling around, collecting fresh ingredients to dry and make spices and or liquor at home, when I already could hear them a few hundred meters away. A rich and snobby-looking family. 2 parents looking in their mid-30s and 40s, and their 2 children who looked to be around 7 to 10 years old. This was near a really expensive sports resort, so I guess they came from there. What already infuriated me was they were hiking with little kids and were extremely ill-equipped. None of them wore closed shoes, sandals. While hiking on a very rocky terrain, none of them had head protection in midsummer, not even the kids, and they had no backpack to pack food or water for their small children. To be added, we were already above the tree line, so there wasn't much shade, just a few bushes and a few meager trees. Another thing to add, that is kind of an unwritten rule that everyone addresses the other with du, more personal German word for you, and not the polite form sie. Their children were running around screaming and having fun, not a big deal to be honest, just a bit annoying for people who want to enjoy the scenery and quiet. At the moment they came up to me, I was in a pretty steep slope about 10 feet up collecting stone pine saps. When I heard the trademark I turned around and saw Karen standing there, tapping her foot in a speed that a death metal drummer would die of jealousy.
Do you know that you aren't allowed to climb around here? You are setting a bad example for my babies.
She used a formal word for you. Her babies were about 12 feet ahead with their dad looking at flowers. I nodded at her and said, trying my best to suppress my heavy dialect, "It's okay, I'm only a few feet up and the ground here is pretty solid." She snorted and shouted,
"How dare you mock my accent, you racist valley shitter!"
Valley shitter is a slur for Austrians, especially for Austrians who are living in or near the mountains. I'm not copying your accent, you idiot, and don't call me a valley shitter. Here I used the informal you.
I call you what I want, valley shitter!
I then finished collecting stone pine saps and climbed down. She suddenly realizing that I'm climbing down gets scared. I'm 6'2", and on the heavy side, she was maybe 5'8" and a stick. She then proceeds to fall back on her behind because she stumbled over a rock. She then told me with the most malevolent smile that she's going to scream if I don't hand her my bag of stone pine. Luckily, at that moment, her husband jumps in, apologizes, pulls her to her feet, and storms off with her like a small toddler. I shake my head and go on with my day. Was that all? Ha! Hell no. My family and I move on to a higher place to picnic and enjoy the view. When I see that Karen again, I smile and wave at her, point her out for my family, and we all have a laugh. After the picnic, we walk back. When I see the Karen walking with her family dangerously close to a group of mother cows with their calf. Mother cows are between 1,600 and 2,500 pounds and extremely protective over their calves. I already know what's going on and move my family out of range, then point them out to a nearby farmhand or ranger. We both looked at EM and her family as she points with her finger at a calf. As she was talking with her younger kid, I believe it was a girl. Then the kids started to run towards the calf. The park ranger or farmhand sprinted over, grabbed the kid, which was only about 12 feet away from the calf, mid-sprint, and booked it the hell out of there. What EM and the kid couldn't or wouldn't see was that a large mother cow was already approaching the kid fast. Of course, the Karen screamed at the ranger that he was a pedo and a child nabber, etc. Even her husband was pissed for a moment, till the ranger screamed at them and radioed the next station to pick them up. There was a dirt road nearby. As the Karen was driven down the hill, I just simply stood next to the road smiling and waving at her. Not the last time I saw her. Sadly, she also was staying in the same hotel as us, and even tried to get me kicked out. But we know the owners, and they believed us, even more so because the owners got a written report about the incident from the rangers. 3. This post is about an entitled woman and her child. My girlfriend has gotten a job promotion recently, from a dentist assistant, I believe is the term. Truthfully, I don't pay much attention when she talks of her job, to a dental hygienist, which she gets paid more, so she decided to treat me to dinner. I live in a small town where my lifestyle is uncommon, and I do tend to, once in a while, get weird looks and multiple people disapprove. But no accounts like this woman since high school, which was rough. Anyways, my girlfriend brought us to this nice seafood restaurant. I was so excited I put on my nice dress and spent at least half an hour making sure my eye makeup and hair was right. But when I got there, I saw the woman I hated most in this life. I've had more encounters with this woman and her son, but I'll save them if you wish to hear them. Anyways, though, whenever I was walking into the restaurant, I passed one of my students on the way in. It's important later, I promise. I was put down in my seat, and I looked to my right to find her sitting at a table there with her husband and son. I decided to try and ignore them and enjoy my evening. So I started off with a glass of brandy. I noticed her staring at me, and then my girlfriend arrived. She sat down and I gave her a hug and a kiss on the cheek. And the woman looked at me with disgust. I personally just did not care anymore. And then the situation played out like this. Did you order yet? No, I only got my drink so far, but I did see a nice blackened mai fillet. Oh, that does seem nice. I may just get that. And what were you thinking, baby? I was thinking about maybe flounder fried whole. Reminds me of home. That sounds good too. What do you think for an appetizer then? I'm not sure. Maybe we should get some crab claws. All right. I think we're ready to order. After a few minutes of waiting and talking, the waitress came and took our orders and such. And then we began talking again, mostly about our days and a little bit of flirting. I actually had a pretty good day. I'm a teacher at the high school, and for once the children actually behaved themselves. So as I talked with my girlfriend, the woman finally had enough. She slammed down her silverware hard and played it out like this.
Excuse me, but my son is trying to enjoy his meal, and you two are making him uncomfortable with your sinful ways.
Well, if he doesn't like it, then he can look away. It's not very hard.
It's pretty hard to do when you make yourself so obvious, and my baby does not need to see this. You are trying to ruin him. It's bad enough they let you teach.
Well, when he was harassing her at work, it didn't seem to bother him at all then, so shut the hell up. All you, and then she used a slur that rhymes with bike.
Do is lie your way to get what you want, and you don't like him, so you try to get him out of your class.
You're a fucking horrible woman. I can't wait for you to go to hell.
Me go to hell? Ha!
And then she used more slurs.
You're the one who's going to burn.
At this point, everyone has their eyes on us from all the commotion. And it kept escalating, and the son then joined in on insulting me. I remember when I said one of my students was in the restaurant? Yeah, well, he heard all the commotion. He's a bit hot-headed, but he's a good kid. At this point, I was bawling my eyes out, and he and this kid already did not like each other because of something the boy did in the past, and he came and joined my side, threatening the son that if he didn't shut his mouth, he'd have to wire his mouth shut. So this all went on until a manager came in and forced the family away and comforted me. He even gave me and my girlfriend a free dessert. The nice student did end up getting into a fight the next day with their son and jumped him in the hall. Unfortunately, I had to stop the lesson, but I feel he learned a lesson, so I stopped the fight, pulling him off of the boy. But yeah, that's the story of how my night was ruined. So thank you all for listening. 4. I used to live on the bottom floor of a 2-story house in a very popular beach town in North Carolina. I was in my mid-20s. The upstairs was rented out to 4 college-age guys, so 5 people, 5 cars, driveway built for 4. So one of us would either be on the grass or in a paid spot. If you had bills with your name and address, the city would give you a pass to park in certain paid spaces. So not a big deal, but finding a spot in the middle of summer was hard. The house is maybe 100 yards to the beach, pretty short walk, 5 minutes tops with beach gear and little ones. I would leave work at 6:30 a.m. and return around 5 or 6 p.m. By the time I got home, most of the crowds would be gone, so a paid spot was easy for me to get. So I typically leave the driveway for the upstairs guys. One day I was running late and didn't get out of my house till nearly 8. The other guys have left and driveway was empty. I'm walking out to my car and of course the lots are already 90% full or more. As I'm crossing the street, I see a minivan coming up and pull into my driveway. I didn't want to recognize it, so I waited to see if I knew them, or if they knew the guys upstairs. Out steps polo shirt visor bowling short dad and overly peppy mom with 3 screaming kids, obviously no one I know. I backtrack up. Excuse me, do you know the tenants upstairs or have permission to park here?
It doesn't matter, no one's parked here, and Billy, Bobby, and Brandy have to get to the beach.
There's 5 people living here, myself included, and we need to be able to park.
Oh, so where's your car if you live here?
In that spot there because I have a pass.
Don't lie to us, you're here just the same as us, and upset we know how to park for free.
I'm not lying, dude, it's 8 a.m. I'm wearing my work uniform.
We don't need to listen to you, we're going to park and you can do whatever you want. My children have to get to the beach. You're ruining our vacation, so go away.
Meanwhile, the kids are climbing on my fence and trees in and out of the street. Okay, I'll just have you towed and you can deal with it later. ED gets in my face, practically nose to nose.
Try to see. This isn't your house and you're just a little shit.
Mind you, I'm 5'11" and roughly 190 pounds, fairly good shape. Okay, have a nice day. So I went to my car and waited till they were pretty much at the beach. Like I said, very short walk. So I go inside, look up a tow service on the other side of town. Hello, yes, I'd like to report a car illegally parked on my property. Address? 123 Flippy-Doob Road.
Sir, that's an hour away.
Yeah, I know, I'm not paying, that's their problem.
Okay, be there in about an hour and a half.
Called my boss. Not gonna be in today. Explained what happened. He's a pretty easygoing guy. Told me to keep him informed. Tow truck arrives, van gone. I leave my car in the spot and wait. It's 10:30 a.m. or so by now. Sometime around 2 or 3 p.m. there's a very angry knock at my door. Internal thoughts, this is gonna be fun. Imagine the shock when I answered the door, beer in hand, grinning like an idiot. Can I help you?
Where's our van? How did you get here?
Oh yeah, here's the card. Had it towed across town. Gonna be a fun cab ride. I shut the door in their face. More angry yelling and knocking. Yes? ED's trying to get into my house.
You better get us our van back. I'm gonna kick your ass. I'll have you arrested.
Get out of my house and call the cops. Not gonna change anything. I managed to shove him out the door and get it closed and locked. Now I wait. Next 20 minutes are more angry knocking and yelling. Finally, about 4 p.m.-ish, I see some blue lights and there's a much more polite knock at my door. I grew up on the beach. It's a small number of locals. I know 70% of the locals. Police, bartenders, shop owners, residents. I know a lot of people on the island. Oh hey Garrett, how's it going? Yeah, it's good. These people say you stole their van and broke into this house? Nope. They pulled into the driveway as I was leaving for work, pulled an attitude, walked away and said I couldn't do anything. So called Lou on the other side of town. Van's there. I even gave them his card and offered to let them use my phone.
He's lying. He stole our car. I demand he be arrested.
ED storms up behind the officer.
If you don't arrest him, I'll have you fired. This is ridiculous.
Blah, blah. Sir, back up. I'm going to figure this out. ED now shoves past the officer.
This is bullshit.
Working his way into my house again. Garrett is able to pull him out and manages to get him pressed up against his cop car. Sir, you are trespassing now. Looking over at me. Would you like to press charges? Can you keep him in your car until they get a cab? Yeah, I mean, I've got to get statements and everything. So I gave my statements, went inside, grabbed a beer, went out the back door, up the back steps, and around to the second floor porch. And there I sat smiling till a cab came about 5:30. My upstairs neighbors showed up, but they didn't play any part in the story. 5. Once upon a time I was in grade school. For context, I'm a senior in high school right now. There was a party center in my town where all the little girls loved to have their birthday. It had candy machines, a salon where you could get makeovers, a costume closet, and stage where you could do fashion shows, and a party room. It was the coolest place to have your birthday back then. Anyway, I think it was my 7th birthday, and I had a party at that awesome place. There were several girls I didn't like in my class, but I had to invite them anyway, so nobody felt left out. Already, you can tell there are some real entitled people at my school. Anyway, slap bracelets were big at the time, and because I loved anything animal or jungle themed, I had bought some leopard printed bracelets as part of my party favors. After the party, I took home the extras because, after all, I was a birthday girl. The next week in class, I showed up feeling super cool with 2 slap bracelets, one on each wrist. Cue entitled kid.
Ooh, are those from your party?
I'm already prepared to protect my leopard-printed wrist slashers. Yes, we had some left over, and I got to keep them because I was the birthday girl.
That's not fair. Why'd you get 2 just because it was your party?
At this point, the teacher hears the kid fussing and comes over to see what's up. The kid proceeds to interrupt my explanation and says that I was being selfish because I got to have 2 slap bracelets and she only got 1, and had lost it or something. Now, if she acted nicely and not whined at me, I might have given her my other one to be nice, but no. There proceeds a long, dramatic fight with tears, screaming, and crying, and at the end of the day we go home without having resolved anything. Later that night, the kid's parents and the teacher called my mother to ask me to give the kid my other bracelet to be fair. Needless to say, I was not happy. I felt like I couldn't have anything special after that day without having to give it away when people got jealous, and still feel like that sometimes to this day. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to the Impractical Proudness of Parents. iPop number 53. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. The midweek videos proved a little hard to put together, but we got them all done in the end. Good story-wise for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, though, so that's fine. Just need to think about Monday. I may do a stream later tonight, not promising one, but if I'm feeling in the mood when I get work done, I get myself settled. I think everything's charged up, microphone and all that. So we'll see what happens. Okay, with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.